broke into the wrong goddamn rec room, didn't you, you bastard?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Frankenstein's podcast, where it's all about the monster. We're a creature feature podcast about monsters, why we love them. I'm one of your hosts, Joe Praska, and with me, as always, is
your other host, Khalid Hussein.
How's it going, Khalid?
Good, man. Just a Sunday fun day, hanging out at the house. Excited to talk monsters with you.
Yeah, Sunday fun day. You always say Sunday fun day.
Only when it's on Sunday.
Yeah, and it's a fun day, hopefully.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty fun day. It's been pretty chill.
That's great. I love that.
How are you?
I'm also, it was we'll say Sunday. Yeah, Sunday fun day too. Sure.
I like how you're like your issue is with Sunday and not the fun day part.
It's fun day. Yeah. I am really stoked though, because we got a very exciting and special guest that I'm going to bring in right now. We have joining us director, actor, writer, producer, comedian, and visual artist Andre Hyland. Andre, welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm pretty good. Just enjoying my fun day.
You also having a fun day? The fun days all around.
Exactly. It's a unanimous fun day.
Andre, since you're new to the podcast, I got two guest questions for you. First one, since we are a monster podcast, all of pop culture, what's your favorite monster? And if it's not the same, what do you consider to be the scariest?
Okay. Well, it's a tie between Freddy Krueger or Predator as
Great
my
choices.
favorite. Just watching and enjoying. But then as far as scariest or creepiest would be the old man from Poltergeist 3.
I love that. I like Poltergeist 3. Yeah, I like that one because it's kind of like a deep cut. Do you have a favorite? Going back to your favorites, do you have a favorite Freddy movie?
Well, there's kind of two types of Freddy movies, I think. There's the ones that are like trying to be scarier, which is like the first ones. Not that they ever stop being horror or scary in a general sense, but they, become more campy and funny as it goes, or at least it fluctuates. But anyway, my favorite, I don't know. It's hard to say. My least favorite is the child one. The one where he has the kid. What's it called? Like the love child or whatever. I think it's like the fifth one or fourth one.
It's like Dream Child, right?
Well, there's the Dream Warriors. I like that one.
That Dream Warriors rules.
Oh, yeah, Dream Child. Yeah. And it's the kid from Jurassic Park who's like, it's not very scary. It looks like a big turkey. It's that kid.
Oh, it is that kid. Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know he had a kid.
Yeah, the fourth and the fifth one I think are the weakest, but I still ultimately enjoy all of them. But I'd say my favorite, I don't know. It might honestly, there's so many good parts throughout, but maybe just watching beginning to end might actually be Freddy vs. Jason.
Nice. Really?
Just because, I don't know. It was just, I'm like partly endeared to that one because I got to see it like opening weekend, and it was one of the most like insane audiences I'd ever just like, it was like, just everyone was going nuts. It was in Newport, Kentucky. And I don't know why, but like there was like, like the way local radio stations or something will do like a giveaway for like free tickets to this or that or whatever. So I guess people had, I don't know, for some reason they were involved, and the place was packed, and people were like, like in movies when they show like crowds going crazy for a movie, and you're like, yeah, I don't ever really see theaters actually like that, but it actually was like that. They were like throwing popcorn and just whatever. It was like fucking the Gremlins or whatever when they took over the theater. Everybody was just and then I remember there, like in modern theaters, there's not like an aisle down the center of the theater. It's like goes between, and it's kind of like a bottom section and a top section of a movie theater. For whatever reason, like I used to work at a movie theater, and I didn't work at this one, but my old manager happened to be managing at this theater, and he didn't notice me, but I noticed him. I was like, oh, funny, that's Maurice. And he was there, and there was some woman trying to do trivia before the movie started, and it was like, why don't you just start the movie? Everybody is like beyond the high to a reasonable level to like just watch this movie, just start it. And they were trying to do like trivia to give, I don't know, t-shirts or stickers or something away, and no one cared. And then my old manager, I guess, thought like, this is a great opportunity to give a young MC an opportunity to like, the way like AMC has like microphones for Q&As or whatever. He gave it to some kid in the audience. The guy was probably like 16 or 17 tops. And he like jumps out in the sort of like area, that little aisle between the top and bottom section of the theater. And that was kind of like the stage. And then he gets out and he's like, the manager. Oh, before he jumped out, the manager was like, "We've got whatever the kid's name was, and he's going to do a little song for you or whatever." And then the kid jumped out and tried to like go into some rap or something. Like he's like, and then before he even got a word out, he just got showered with popcorn and all kinds of stuff.
No.
My old manager Maurice was just like, "Just start the movie, just start the movie." And then it just went dark, and this kid was getting booed off of his like makeshift stage. But anyway, then Freddy versus Jason played, and it was just like probably one of the most fun movie experiences I had just watching that. But I also liked, because that was 2003, and then all the Freddy stuff you'd seen up to that point pretty much was like heavy 80s and a little bit of 90s. But it was funny to see, at least at that point, more modern looking teenagers or whatever in a Freddy Jason environment, which is now old, but like at the time it was like, that's crazy. And I'm still shocked that they haven't done another Freddy Krueger while Robert Englund's alive, because you could use his face and you could have a body double. I mean, you know what I mean? Anyway. But yeah, I think Freddy vs. Jason. But the rest of them all feel like an amalgamation to me, because I would see them on TV randomly and catch little bits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I also like the meta one where it came out in like 94, the Wes Craven one, when he came back and directed it, and it was like the real actors from Freddy being haunted by Freddy. I like that one too.
Yeah, New Nightmare. That one's really fun.
Yeah.
That's a really cool one, yeah.
It's like a real movie or a documentary?
It's a real movie, but it's meta, so it's like it's about Wes Craven stars in it as himself, and they make the Freddy movies, but it's like they're trying to make the movies to keep a real demon of Freddy. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, you like it. Yeah,
I recommend it. And then I think Robert Englund is playing himself in that, and he's like supposed to be like some Hollywood power player, and he's got like a blazer and a turtleneck, and he's on like a cell phone, like, a novelty at the time.
It is great. Yeah.
So wait, Robert Englund is also in it as himself?
Yeah. They all are. All the cast. Yeah. And Freddy.
Yeah.
That's got to be a head trip. Yeah.
It's wild. Yeah.
Oh, and another Robert Englund thing that I'm a big fan of. Did you guys ever see the old miniseries V? It was like the aliens that came and they turned.
I saw the remake. Weirdly,
the remake was such a bummer. Like, such a good series for those listening who don't know. Like the original one, it's like these aliens come to Earth. They all wear these orange outfits and they pretend like they need help to get some water and some resources. Or no, they don't even say water. They said they're going to basically take our dirty chemicals back to their planet because for whatever reason that helps them. And everybody's like, "Yeah, that sounds like a good deal." And then it turns out, and it was kind of loosely based off of like the Nazis, just their uniforms and how they ever like joined society and then took down scientists and then rebels, etc. But it came out in the early 80s. But then it turns out that these people, they look human, but they are actually lizards, and they're there to take all the Earth's resources, and they're kidnapping people to take and put on their spaceships as food for them later. But anyway, but the remake was a bummer because the original was based off of like, I guess, World War II Nazis in a general framework. And the second one was based off of like kind of late Bush era or like terrorist threat kind of stuff. And it just off of like terrorist cells, and it just didn't translate as well.
Right.
And it was one of those like half reboots where it was like had traces of the original in it and some characters, but the story was different, and it had a lot of like loose ends in it. Like on episode 4, the bad guys would introduce some other sort of like technology that could stop the good guys. Then it was like, if you had that thing, why didn't you just introduce it in the first episode? That. I was like, oh, this is such a bummer. But
I think it was bad because I was a kid when I saw it, and even then I was like, this isn't that good. Like you couldn't even like sell childhood me on it. And I took a lot of bullshit just unquestioningly.
Yeah, and they had these shitty blue uniforms. They look somewhere between like cell phone store employees or Scientologists or something like that. Like they had these like cool orange uniforms that just like look like good sci-fi get-ups or whatever, and it was just better. Oh, but anyway, the whole point of that is Robert Englund in the original one played Willie, the friendly alien. He was one of the aliens that sided with the humans and helped the Rebel Alliance. With Michael Donovan and Julia Parrish.
Good guy, Robert Englund in that one, yeah. Second question for you, I got. What do you
a long ass answer?
No, that's fine.
It's a good answer.
Second question, yeah. No, it's totally fine. Yeah, that's what podcasts are for, right? It's to like talk in depth about random bullshit. It's great.
True, that's true.
What do you consider yourself to be the most like geeky about? Like, what's on your geek card?
And As far as I just think of stuff like stuff I just all right. Old, like sports uniforms. Like I was thinking about that. Like I would, like I'm a big Cincinnati Bengals fan or Cincinnati sports fan. I like sports in general, but I'm like I would go to watch like a Bengals game at a bar, and I'd be talking about like, oh, I like their late '80s uniforms with the all white with the orange helmet, and before they did like this busy thing or whatever. And I don't know, like there'd just be strangers at the bar would not care as much as I did. And then, but I've got a few friends that do, which is nice. Anyway, so I don't know, like old uniforms of sports and then or just I guess uniforms in general, but I prefer like late 80s, early 90s sports uniforms. And then years movies came out. I mean movies in general, but like that's I like movies. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Like what do you mean more specifically?
You're kind of nailing it.
Okay. Well, there you go.
The uniform answer was pretty unique. I like that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
believe it or not, that's a first for us. That hasn't come up before.
Also old soda can graphics. I like that. So yeah.
So like retro designs kind of, huh?
Kind of, yeah. It's not. Yeah, I guess they're retro by default because that's the era I seem to like. But I'm not like that has to be retro for me to like it. But that's
Right.
definitely where my tastes end up falling most of the time.
Fascinating. That's cool. Yeah, I do like that. I was looking into like your like work that you've done in general. And I was going to ask you just a little bit about and give you a chance to kind of plug some stuff. But I found this like interview that you did on like a local Cincinnati broadcast.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was about like
I've done a few. Yeah.
It was about like you had like done like drawings or sketches that were on display at it was like the DSGN collective in Cincinnati.
Oh yeah, Design Collective. Yeah, in Cincinnati.
Yeah, Yeah. I was like, it was kind of cool. Like, cause I mean, what I had known before, like kind of digging into your history is I've seen you more as the actor kind of person but seeing your visual art, like that's kind of a different side. Could you tell us a little bit about your like visual artist side?
Sure. Where do I start? I mean, like a lot of people, you draw as a kid, but I never sort of stopped. And then I'd say late teens it turned into like graffiti street art, big chunk of my life for like 10 years. And you never fully stopped, but like that was like my prime era of that. And that was like a big part of my creative diet for like a good 10 years was like street art graffiti stuff. Not to say that's the style of it necessarily, but that's how I applied a lot of it. Like kind of like, I don't know, satiated that whatever itch, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I've always liked really kind of well, they're not all gross, but fluctuating between kind of like just bold, colorful, graphic imagery that's kind of like gross and funny looking. And then it's hard to describe in a way something visual, I guess. I don't know. It's somewhere. I don't want to say they're cartoony. I don't know. Shit. How do I describe it? Like if you look at it, you can be like, oh, there's traces of graffiti in there and cartoon, but not just straight up cartoon. It's like bold graphic characters. And like when I was doing I can talk about it better in graffiti terms. Like in graffiti, people will typically like write a name, and then I would always just do a character or this sort of, I'm gonna sound so pompous, but this visual language I created of my own, and I would just kind of do iconography from that instead of a name. Not to say that people who do names don't use their own iconography, they do, but it was just sort of like I would always do these characters, but you could tell it was the same guy because it was in this same style that I did. And then, within that, I would have a few things that I would repeat, but I always did characters. But I would sign them with a name just so there could be like a name with it. But it was always these sort of organic-y looking, but graphic looking characters that were really sort of colorful and bright or gross looking. Like I like drawing like gnarly ass looking people. Kind of like not the same as Art Crumb, but the way Art Crumb makes or did make like sweaty, gross characters. There's a little bit of that in what I do. Somewhere between like Art Crumb and Keith Haring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say
interesting.
Maybe that was a quick way to describe it.
Oh, I like it. No, it's great. It's great. It's Thanks. Cool. It's very cool stuff.
But I had a whole solo show last summer at that Design Collective, and I used to do a lot of art shows, but I hadn't in a while. I kind of like fell out of it and was focused more on television and film for a long time. And then during COVID, I never stopped drawing, but I had stopped kind of painting and putting as much energy and time into it. And then during COVID, just as sort of the world half stopped or fully, whatever, when everything was just fucked up. It was just like, all right, well, I guess my career ambitions and everything are kind of out the window. And it kind of brought me back to that place of like, at least on the silver lining part of that era, was just sort of like, okay, like you got to get uninhibited again, because you're not kind of doing something with, not that ambitions are all like clever or bad or something like that, but it was just, feeling uninhibited again. And it made me enjoy drawing and doing that again like I used to. And then just over time, I started making more work and putting more time into it again. And that led to doing that show. And I made a little book for the show also that I was selling. And now I'm going to make like a more legitimate book, probably about the graffiti street art stuff in particular, which I'm looking forward to having that.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah. Yeah. So on the other side, like you mentioned, like the sort of film and television, and just like a quick sampling of the work that I've kind of like saw that you did. You were on Laid on Peacock. You're recently on the FX Hulu show The Lowdown with Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
You were one of the stars of The Death of Dick Long, an A24 film. You recently were in what was it, with Sean William Scott?
Bad Man.
That was it. Yeah. So you've been busy lately. Oh, and Barry, HBO's Barry. That was a pretty big one too. That's cool. You've been busy lately. I feel like, podcasting, it's like an audio medium, of course, but like I feel like looking at you, like I'm like, oh yeah, I totally recognize you from plenty of things I've seen. I'm sure people would if they like see you. What is there any like work that's like coming out very soon that we should like look out for you?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Well, I guess Lowdown season 2.
Ooh, yeah.
Can't wait.
And what else? What else is there? I'm doing a live show May 30th in LA. My talk show, the Jesse Miller talk show that I've been doing for a long time. I don't have all the guests booked yet, but May 30th at the Elysian Theater in LA. I have a new feature film that is close to being, that I wrote and directed and star in, that will be out soon. I don't have a date, but yeah, there's just some little nitpicky little things to finish with it, and then it's kind of finding its way out into the world. I just don't know exactly how yet, but I'm very excited. That's probably the one I'm most eager for people to see right now. I just don't have a date to point you at, but I'm very excited to have my new feature out in the world. Yeah.
That's amazing. I didn't know that you were making your own feature. That's so cool. Yeah. I'm very excited to see that when that comes out.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, anyway, thank you so much for answering all those questions, and we'll like link all this stuff. And when the movie comes out, we'll happily like chat more about it on the podcast, of course, too. Cool. But I will say I'm definitely digging this conversation, but I do have a question for you, Khalid.
What's up?
Could you tell me, why do you think it's hard to date a seismologist?
Why do I think it's hard to date a seismologist? Something about, I'm going two directions with it. Either it's something about the relationship being shaky or like big breakups. I don't know. I can't get to it though. Hit me. Why?
They're always looking for faults.
Okay.
And that's a segue, Khalid. What are we talking about?
Well, I was gonna say, I would have thought they would have been more grounded.
Oh,
okay. Did you guys touch my digging this conversation thing? That was a pun too.
Oh, that was
yeah. Just in case anyone
stop while you're
it.
ahead, Joe.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking. Before all that, thanks for asking. Today we are talking about the 1990 comedy horror film Tremors, directed by Ron Underwood, and I've got a synopsis from your homeboy Khalid, aka me, and it goes a little something like this. Val and Earl are two salt-of-the-earth dudes that account for 14% of the population of Perfection, Nevada. They're also dreaming of a better life when they are besieged by some damn snakeoids, pardon my French. Armed with nothing but a million guns and pipe bombs, the residents play the scariest game of the floor is lava ever.
What a monster!
They're creatures of the abstract that live off potential energy.
It's alive!
It's my God, that's great. My 4-year-old right now is obsessed with the floor of lava, everything constantly. And I thought about that constantly when I was watching this movie too. I was like, this is floor is lava.
Yeah. It's so.
I'm glad you picked up on it.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
You guys ever see that Netflix show, The Floor is Lava?
I watch it a lot. With our he is obsessed with it right now. You want to watch a show, buddy? Floor is lava. I'm like, all right.
Do you know that comedian Alyssa Sabo? She was a contestant on that.
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's a couple.
I didn't know her until after it, so I saw the episode but didn't realize it, and I was like, "What? That's crazy! You're on Floor is Lava."
You were starstruck.
I was like, "That seems awesome."
It's kind of a cool show. Like I kind of would. It looks painful. Like you like jumping on those obstacles. I'd be interested to try it though. I feel like I would fail hard. Anyway, a little bit of background about Tremors before we dig into some thoughts. So this originated from a story by S.S. Wilson, Brent Maddock, and Ron Underwood, who you mentioned. They apparently viewed the project initially as like a contemporary variation on like 1950s monster movies, kind of mixing that traditional monster premise with like more modern character comedy. According to Wilson, one of the writers, he said that he actually came up with the idea when he was working as a film editor at a naval base in the Mojave Desert. And during hikes, like off like when he was off work, he would imagine just like the idea of what it would feel like to be stranded on a rock while a creature moved beneath the ground, and sort of kind of form the idea for the movie through that. And I guess the rest is history. So I want to get some initial thoughts on this one. Andre, since you kind of suggested this one, I'm guessing you like it. What do you think of this one?
Oh, I love Tremors. It's like such a good summer movie. I don't know. I've always liked it ever since I first saw it at the theater forever ago, and I don't know. It just stuck with me. Like, it's funny because it's got all these sequels, but I've never seen any of the sequels because they're terrible. Not that stopped me before from watching bad sequels, but like I just have not watched the sequels to Tremors. But I always loved the first one, and I don't know. You know, some movies just stick with you, like Tremors. Point Break has nothing to do with it, but like that's another one where I was like, oh, I just love this. Or like Terminator 2. Also, some of those came out like a year later, but like there's a handful of movies from that period where it's just like, oh, these are so rewatchable and just enjoyable. And Tremors was definitely one of those. And even though Tremors is popular, it still surprises me that it's kind of not as popular, or that it hasn't in all the world of reboots and sequels, that it's only had shitty sequels. You'd think that'd be like one, that'd be. And it's also like, it's just these creatures. You could easily do sequels for ages and do a good one, but there's also no need. The original's great and you're done. The one thing when I rewatched it recently, so I watched it. It's a one I'll watch like every couple of years, but since we were doing this, I rewatched it. And one of the things, like, I guess I didn't forget, but when I was watching it, it reminded me, I was like, oh yeah, the sound, or not the sound, but it's not the soundtrack, I guess the score for the movie, so hokey. They play that. That's the only thing I would change. Is like, it's like, I mean, I guess I wouldn't change it. It's perfect. But like all that stupid, like, it's like harmonic-y, like blue. It sounds like some shit you'd hear in a Prilosec commercial or something like that. They're like having a good time eating barbecue, and it's just like, I don't know. It's just like the dumbest soundtrack.
Like banjo.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, well, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah, it's very funny. Yeah, Khalid, what do you think?
Man, this movie, thank you for suggesting it, Andre. I'd never seen it before this. So going into it, the only thing I had in my mind about it was there's worm type creatures that are getting everybody out of the ground. And then like, I must have just like always seen like a still frame, or maybe it was like, just like, like on reruns or something like that, where like, I only remember people like standing on like trailers and like watching out for the ground and stuff. So I did not have much of an idea of what the movie was going to be beyond that. And I think that like the thing that blew me away was like how propulsive it is. It's a really lean movie. It comes in like just like 5 minutes over an hour and a half. And it's, you immediately get to know like your two main characters, Val and Earl, and you get their whole deal like really, really like efficiently. It's super clean. Then you get to know like a couple of the townspeople, but like even within that setup, there's already dead people popping up. So So it's like really spinning a lot of plates concurrently, but like efficiently, so that like by the time you're in that last 45-minute stretch where it's like everybody's just on the same page, there's monsters, we got to do something about it. It really just sails from there. And it's just like great performances pretty much like across the board. Like I don't think there was anybody that like took me out of it, which is like rare for what I'd always consider to be just like a popular B movie. I always thought that like even for all the compliments and accolades it got, that it would be a little bit more like corny than it ended up being. So
Right.
it just really hits on like multiple levels in like a satisfying way. And I think my favorite thing about it is that like the monsters are basically like a screenwriter. Like their whole thing is just like they are as smart and as like dangerous as like that current part of the movie needs them to be. And once you need shit to like move along, they get smarter, they get more dangerous. And it's just like, and it's not in a way that I'm like, oh, I see the seams in this and this sucks. It's like, that's really clever. So I loved it. It's probably one of my fave watches now.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, though. It totally does keep moving, and they set up the characters so well. They've got their jobs they're sick of and the routine and know everybody, and they want to get out of town and go to Bixby, which I like because it's obviously an also super small town, but compared to where they are, that's like moving into a bigger situation.
Population 14, and we start the movie with like 5 of them dead already. It's nuts.
Bold move, yeah.
The only part's like, there's no real lull in the movie. And the only time you could argue there is, it's a deliberate one where they're kind of like at the general store and he's like patching up her legs. And then they're kind of like having her like moment to start their romantic intentions or whatever, you know, liking each other or whatever. And then the Pepsi machine starts making noise. And then like the movie only got quiet. So the Pepsi machine or fridge was loud.
Yep.
Or whatever. What do you call those? Those fridges with the top on the, or the door on the top, one of those things.
Those like throwback coolers that like stores have. Yeah.
Where he's helping like patch up her legs. This means nothing to anybody, but there was something in that me and my sister would repeat. Like, so like Fred Ward is sitting there watching Kevin Bacon, like, you know, help her put Band-Aids on her cuts or whatever. And then he looks at him and he's like smoking a cigarette and he like kind of lifts the cigarette from like straight forward to up with his lips, I guess, just like, and then while he's watching them do that, and for whatever reason, my sister and I took to that, and whenever we were kids, we would have like eating French fries, we would lift our French fry up like it was the cigarette Fred Ward had when he was watching them. It's like a reference we still like have. It's an innocuous thing, but it's like stuck with us for whatever 30 years.
That's amazing.
Fred Ward's doing some really good face acting in this movie.
Yeah,
a lot of just reaction shots of him that are gold.
He is so funny in this. Yeah. I mean, he was obviously doing some good like physical acting there. Like I think that's like a pointed piece. That's so fun that you took to that.
Joe, what about you? What'd you think of the movie?
I very much so enjoyed this too. I watched this as a kid. This was kind of like one of those like VHS ones that I would see a lot and watch then. I don't think I'd revisited it since like pre-high school though. So this was my first time revisiting, but I still very much enjoyed it. I appreciate more now the sort of blending of the horror and the comedy to it. Like I think that one of the things that really sticks out to me and now having a podcast all about monsters is like how characters react to monsters and like just like really strange situations. And I think like sometimes when we were watching this, like Nicole, my wife, when we were watching this, we kind of compared it a little bit to A Quiet Place with the rules sometimes, like being quiet. And I feel like when I was thinking about like the comparison between those two movies, like that, The Quiet Place is fine. It's very self-serious though.
Yeah.
And I like this one where they're all just able to be like, what the shit is this? Like, I think Kevin Bacon says that at one point, like, what the shit is this? Like to allow them to be just flabbergasted and like have moments of like, this is insane, like, and kind of recognize that and not let it like. And I think like the comedy of it was really clever in that way. Like it wasn't just bits and jokes, you know what I mean? Like
sure.
it felt like fun, like realistic, like people dealing with like unrealistic situations.
Yeah, it was the comedy was like the combination of these characters with that circumstance, not like wisecracks or like
exactly
stuff or whatever. Yeah, like it's. Yeah, because it's like a legit like monster movie, but it has a lot of levity in it without being like overtly comical. I agree.
Right. Yeah. And like I feel like the Michael Gross character, Bert Gummer, like he's like a good actor because he just looks like a guy who would be in your small town.
Yeah.
You know, like he feels like a guy like that.
Funny too, because until Tremors, I mean, I don't know his whole filmography, but he was mostly known as the dad from Family Ties.
Yeah.
Which is very different. He's supposed to be kind of like this liberal sort of ex-hippie dad in Columbus, Ohio. And in this, he's like a survivalist, like gun nut kind of guy.
Yeah.
That sequence of them when the monster starts, banging into their sort of like, whatever, their gun room, I guess.
Their gun basement.
A wall of guns.
Yeah, when they're like shooting it and then he like runs out, then that's like such a good like just comedic like visual joke. It pans over and the wall behind him is just covered in guns, like lights on a Christmas tree. It's just like crazy.
Yeah.
But that's like such a good classic bit. Funny Michael Gross experience I had was like a while ago. It's like 10 years ago or so. I had something at the Pasadena Film Festival and I'd never been to it. It's just kind of, whatever. It's fine. Like, but we were walking. It was in some fancy hotel or something. And when my friend and I walked in the front door, there was like a small, like, when the Titanic was like sinking and there was that small little like string quartet like playing music or whatever.
Yeah.
There was
Okay.
one of those like in the lobby, and I was like, oh, okay. And then right next to them, this guy, I mean, I just like stepped into this situation. So they're playing. Then I looked out, I was like, what are they looking at? They're not looking at that little band. And there's a guy on the ground having a seizure or a heart attack or something. I was like,
my God.
Shit.
Holy shit.
And then all of a sudden, like paramedics ran. And this is like within 2 seconds of me just stepping in the door of this festival at this hotel lobby. And then like, so paramedics rushed over to this guy. I'm like, that's crazy. And then the band was still like playing. And then I looked to my left and Michael Gross and like, I don't know, his wife were just standing there like, huh.
What?
I was like, oh shit, it's Michael Gross.
That sounds like a dream you had.
Yeah, it felt like it. There's
so many moving parts.
That was my
Michael Gross was there.
Fun fact about Michael Gross, I think he's in a bunch of the sequels, but like what's fun about it is that one of them is like way back in like Frontier times. It's like the first Tremor or something. And they did like the Back to the Future 3 thing where it's like all your ancestors just look exactly like you. So,
yep.
So
he's like an ancestor of Bert.
Yeah, it's just like old man Gummer is just like, he's just like dressed like a not even a prospector. What were they called? They're the Pinkertons. He's dressed like a Pinkerton. And he's just like shooting it out with like with Tremors in the Old West. It's so funny.
What's funny too is in the movie when they're like the roads are out, the phones are out, we're on our own, and we can't get a radio signal because of the mountains. And he's like, that's why we moved here, because we could be totally surrounded by all this stuff. But it's like, but that doesn't. Well, I mean, I guess that could still fly with his ancestry being there, but it just seems like that character came there for that point. So
in the Western one, they actually established that his ancestor built a house right where he built the house too.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, okay. So it's even deeper ties.
In my mind, the Tremor monsters and Michael Gross's like entire lineage are just like destined, intertwined. Like
Michael,
it's a feud.
Yeah, I think Michael Gross is to Tremors how Kenan Thompson is to SNL. He's just like. He's just like,
it's gotta be there. Thing. Yeah.
Both of their DNAs. Yeah.
Great comparison. Yeah. They just got. I mean, speaking of the sequels, I actually have a little bit. I was like, I don't know much about the sequels myself, but I was kind of like intrigued about it. I kind of like got a list of it. Like, so there's 7 films total that they created. 7, and the second one was supposed to go to the theaters, but they ended up not doing that just to save money. And it's Tremors 2 Aftershocks in '96. Fred Ward is back in that one.
Yeah, I knew he was in it, but that's but I never saw it still.
2 is actually, I've seen 2, and 2 is kind of fun. He's hired to go stop an infestation in like a Mexican oil field. But in that one, they introduce like another life cycle. There's like these, they call them the Shriekers. So they're creatures that walk on land.
Yeah.
But then after that, it's like, it's all the Burt Gummer show. Like Michael Gross is the lead and all of the rest of them since then. And they have all sorts of other like life cycles. There's ones they call ass blasters that like fly. There's like dirt dragons. I don't really know what they are. A lot of weird ones. But they also had a sci-fi original TV show also starring Michael Gross in 2003. And in 2018, they had an unsuccessful TV pilot that Sci-Fi passed on that brought back Kevin Bacon. Actually,
that's what I knew about. Yeah, and I was like, how did they not do that one? They did all these shitty ones, but
isn't that insane?
Kevin Bacon was down to good. I remember he was like on the Nerdist podcast talking about it sometime after that.
Yeah.
And I was like, why didn't they do that one?
It would have been cool. There's a trailer you can watch for it too. Like,
really?
There's a full-on trailer that they made for it, but they never actually released the pilot.
Oh, crazy! Was Kevin Bacon in the trailer also?
Oh yeah, heavily featured.
I gotta look that up. I'm looking that up as soon as we're done with this. Yeah.
It's very funny, but yeah, it's crazy how much of a franchise. Like the newer ones, like I think like Jamie Kennedy was in one of the new ones, and
funny.
Like, the guy who played Napoleon Dynamite. But they're all with Burt Gummer. So also
John Heder,
that's the name. Yeah,
and the star of The Mask 2.
Yeah, yeah. So it goes. I'm sure it has its fan, but it sounds like they go to some weird places.
Have you guys ever seen The Mask 2? I've actually never seen that one.
I saw it when I was a kid, and I felt
Son of the Mask. Yeah,
I don't know.
I felt like I had the flu when I was watching it. Like there are like certain movies that are like so bad your body starts having a reaction. Like that's one of those movies.
Yeah,
funny. Oh, one thing I did notice when I rewatched recently that I kind of forgot about the one. If I was gonna have some notes for Tremors, I guess the Prilosec commercial music, I would be like, maybe go easy on that. But then the other thing is, remember when the teenager who's like throwing the basketball and acting like a dick and like does like false scares, and then they come outside and they're like, he's at the top of that pole and they're like, oh shit, it's real, and then the tremor pops out.
Yeah.
After like things go awry I think in that moment or around that period where they're at the general store and they're kind of being held there, everybody scatters at one point. The student, she gets on that water tower, and a few other people go to different places. But the teenager goes into that old metal shack, that old like sheet metal shack, and the rest of them are like on top of the general store. And he's like, "What are you guys doing up there?" And they're like, "Get on the roof, get on the roof." And he's like, "What?" And then the thing attacks, and he's like, and scurries onto the top of the metal shed. But the first thing that kid did when he came across those tremors is climb to the top of a pole. So he knows full well they're under the ground.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if one of the other characters, like the guy who got on the tire, and they're like, you got to get higher than that. That makes total sense. Yeah. But that teenager, he would have been trying to get on the top of something from the jump.
That's true. Yeah,
that's true.
That's my one note.
That's a fair note. Yeah, he was kind of a shit.
Well, my note is,
unless he's just that stupid, he already forgot.
He already forgot. Yeah,
that was a dumb kid, and I think it goes to like how surprising the movie was for me that like he survived all of it. Like I get it, like I love seeing like a kid get eaten, but like I felt like they spent the first 30 minutes making us want to see him get eaten. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
For him to survive is shocking, but like a lot of them survived. Like it was a really like relatively small body count for what ended up being like 4 giant worms coming at him.
That's true.
It's a large percentage of the population still.
Yeah, it's still like 50% of the town, which is a massacre by any metric. But you know, it's still like 8 people get to leave. You know.
Yeah. A couple utility guys, the guy in the tower. Well, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but yeah.
Spoiler safe. It's fine.
We're in spoiler zone. Victor Wong, though.
Freaking Reba survived. I was like, that's crazy.
Reba McEntire. Yeah, that's why she's in this movie. Yeah.
I will say, my like nitpick was when it's Kevin Bacon, Fred Ward, and the seismologist all on the rock before the town is like involved, and they're like trying to figure out how to get out of the situation. They like spend so much time showing us that like the second anything touches the ground, the tremors are coming for you. And then their solution is to pole vault across the rocks. And I'm just like, do they not? I don't understand. Is the pole somehow not registering what like that tiny hand shovel did?
Well, I guess I took it as it was quick enough to get in and out. Is how I took it.
I guess that's true. Yeah,
I guess it was like
when they did land in the pickup truck, it was pretty quick to smash the window and go at them.
Yeah, that's real. And I'm not trying to be like CinemaSins about it or anything. Like, it ruled. It was just like I was just like, it doesn't even kind of like twitch at it. I'm just like, what's going on?
It did go after the pole pogo stick girl though.
They did, yeah. Mindy almost got it.
That was so funny. I was like, are they about to show this poor girl get murdered doing like the silliest thing right now? Like, I haven't thought of pogo sticks in like 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, if that character had gotten eaten, the teenage boy would have definitely gotten eaten. There would have been a lot more.
For sure. They would have had
Would
to.
open the floodgates if she could
Yeah.
go.
Oh yeah, they would have like thrown him to the worms. They'd have been like, it should have been you.
Yeah.
She was it's young Lex from Jurassic Park. Did you know that?
That's right. You know, her
Yeah,
birthday
same
is
actor.
9/11.
Really?
Yeah.
I have two coworkers whose birthdays are on 9/11.
Huh.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Her
we call-
and
we call it the
Ludacris.
twins.
Ludacris too.
Yeah, he's a September 11th.
Ludicrous?
Yeah.
Wow. 9/11 birthdays, huh?
Yeah, I admit there might be a couple more famous people, but I remember one time just looking up, I was like, that would suck that was your birthday. and then I was like, oh shit, the girl from Jurassic Park. Oh, Ludacris.
That is pretty good. I do want to say though, Khalid, to the pole vaulting part, the wide shot of them pole vaulting across the rocks, that was just a really cool shot.
Yeah.
Cool
I
shot.
really like that.
Uh, I'm gonna be. Let's all just say real quick. Like, how long would it take you, first time ever pole vaulting, to like bother even trying that in that situation if you've never pole vaulted before?
Well, I'll say this. One time I was in Philadelphia and I got in this. There was a dumpster. It was me and a group of friends, and it was like this city street. And there's a dumpster filled to the top. It looked like a university or an office building. Just threw out a bunch of stuff. I was like, oh, there might be cool shit in there. So like I climbed into the dumpster, and in the dumpster was a big, tall metal pipe. And I jokingly I don't want to say serious, but serious as in I was like, I'll give it a shot. But as a joke, oh man, this is so dumb. And this was a tall dumpster. It was like a good 6 feet off the ground, like not like a 3-foot one, like it was as tall or taller than me.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't know, this is so stupid. I guess I was like 23. Not that, that made me extra dumb or smart, but that's when it was going on. And I took this metal pole and I put it beside the dumpster in Philly, or at least this part of it had big wide sidewalks. And I thought for a moment, oh, those would be funny, like in Tremors where they pole vaulted off of that boulder. I'll pole vault out of the dumpster onto the sidewalk. And then just as I was about to do it, I thought, I was so smart, I thought, this is a bad idea. I'm going to land on the concrete. This isn't like Tremors where they're landing on a rock or whatever. Anyway, but I went to the edge of the dumpster and I said, look, Tremors, and kind of jokingly did it, but committed to it, and then thought, don't do this. But gravity was already on its way. And then so I went out, but it wasn't like a full vault by any means. It was just enough to be like, oh, my body is now no longer in the dumpster. And I just went like at an angle, kind of vaulted lightly just out of it. And then I thought, this is dumb, because I'm going to go falling into this big stone building near us. So I just let go of the pole to drop. So I only quasi vaulted into this wall, and I dropped and I hit my heel, and I'm pretty sure I had a compound fracture, or not compound fracture, a hairline, definitely not a compound, like a hairline fracture in the heel of my foot, and then I could not walk for like a week on that foot.
Oh no!
I just fucked it up, and the rest of the night I was like, "Why did I do that dumb Tremors joke?" Like for a week I was fucking limping and couldn't use my foot. And, you know, I didn't live in Philly. I was like traveling and visiting a friend, and it was just the dumbest shit ever. And it was like, you know, when you hear about kids like acting like Ninja Turtles or something really stupid, and you're like, these fucking dumb kids, why would they do that? But then when I was like 23, I did that for Tremors, basically. And I didn't even commit to it. It was just like either commit to it or like don't do it at all. Actually, don't do it at all would have been the better route. But it was just like mild commitment. Then like, no, I shouldn't. And then, oh, I fucked up my foot.
Oh no!
I mean, it sounds like if you committed to it, you probably pancaked yourself against that wall.
Yeah, I think it would have been. I think my foot would have been okay, but the rest of my body would have been jacked. Yeah.
Peel you off in like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
But I think in their circumstance, due to my own stupidity, I would have felt confident to do what they did in that situation.
I think it would have happened to me what happened to you in that dumpster. Like I would, as soon as I felt like I'm no longer on the ground and I'm like at the mercy of the pole, I would have freaked out and like let go. Yeah. Well, they did have their first attempt where they fell on his back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he failed it first. He failed it first. Yeah.
You know, it was like, okay, now I know how much I got to give it. You know, like I was at Dave and Buster's last night. And I was doing one of the basketball games, but like, and those, you know, where you throw a basket and it's in that cage and you get points in a timer or whatever. But like, you don't want the ball to hit the ceiling of the basketball video game thing. So, you know, you screw up a couple and you're like, oh, okay, now I know how to like shoot the shot, but keep it low enough. I think that was like those characters figuring that out with the pole vaulting. So
Yeah, they showed it. I mean, it's fair. I will say that my fear would be falling backwards. I think if I like didn't give it enough push, like I don't know, maybe I would overcompensate, maybe, and like it would like fall underneath. I don't know. I'd be worried, but
They're so lucky there were 3 like 9-foot poles, right?
Yeah, that was lucky.
Fortuitous.
It's lucky that there was the perfect MacGyver tools just waiting by this.
The luckiest thing that happened to them, second to the fact that there was like a collection of rocks that like was like pole vault distances, like all the way up to the truck. Like it was just like luck on luck for them. Considering
the right distance of rocks. That was very fun. We got to get to the monsters here in a bit, but I wanted to mention I did this like weird. I kind of a deep dive with this movie. I was looking into just like some of the background of it, but this movie has a seismology consultant actually.
Oh,
and this was interesting. Dr. Kate Hutton was the seismology consultant, and there's like a link that led me to a bunch of stuff. She's a bunch of articles about her and a very fascinating person, which I will link. I'll put a link there. But she was apparently referred to at the time as the quote earthquake lady. She was like this like public persona who would like come on TV when like earthquakes were happening and talk about like what to safely do. But she kind of like had this like a charisma to her that she was like kind of like a science educator, like in the public, almost like a Bill Nye kind of person.
Yeah.
And apparently in the article and on her Wikipedia page, she's known as a quote lesbian icon to a bunch of people. So that's pretty badass.
I bet she was popular at that time. This movie came out in 90 and they probably shot it in 89, maybe or early 90.
Yeah.
And then that's right on the heels of the 89 earthquake in like the Bay Area. So I bet she was on TV a lot.
I think that's what it was. Yeah. I think that's what it was. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of stuff on her. So that's kind of cool. Fun fact.
I wonder if any of the character in the movie was based off of her with the heavy sunscreen on her nose or anything like that.
Yeah. The Rhonda character.
Yeah, I was wondering. If we have any queer or lesbian listeners that can like attest to how popular she may still be, please let us know. I'm curious.
Would love to hear.
Yeah, those not are just like, yeah, okay, I guess they say so.
Yeah.
She's just like on the Mount Rushmore of like famous like, lesbians. Like.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more of like of the seismologists, she's the legend.
Of the seismologist community,
of the queer maybe not seismologists,
probably not the legend among legends.
Yeah. All the queer seismologists are like,
maybe she's right up there. Yeah.
Goat. That's the goat right there.
Anyway, shall we monster it up?
Sure.
Yes, we should, but real quick, shout out to the general store owner who I immediately recognized as the grandfather from Three Ninjas. Love that.
Oh, yeah. Was he in Golden Child also?
Yes.
We were just talking about this off air. Yeah, he's in Golden Child. He's in Big Trouble in Little China. Victor Wong is the actor. He's great.
Victor Wong.
Yeah.
Graboids. We should call them Graboids.
I love
Every time he's in
like,
something,
there's 14 people in town. You're like one of like 2 minorities, and you still are just bilking these guys for everything they're worth. Like you're just hustling them. It's so awesome.
He died due to his noisy refrigerator.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Pepsi machine. Yeah. I did love that moment.
I just wanted to shout him out before we move on.
Yeah,
he's so good. But when he's like. When they see the thing attached to the truck and his first thought is $5 for it.
Yeah. Also, awesome. Golden Child, he rips off Eddie Murphy. He steals the money. He's like, we see a little naked. He's like a weird little naked dude running around with a $100 bill.
Oh man, that was a good one.
A bird or something and flies away in that.
Yeah, it's in this era of movies. Like I feel like he showed up in a lot, and he was always a welcome presence.
Yeah, he has such a great face for like.
He does,
yeah. Like you see it like contort at like the most random times, and it's always awesome. I loved it.
Yeah,
and he taught those boys karate, man.
Yeah,
Golden Child is, I feel like, an underrated '80s movie too.
We did it on the podcast, actually. We did an episode on it a while back. It was I feel like not many people listened to that episode, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
That was like the weirdest movie. I had no idea.
All right. Let's monster. So I actually got a lot. There's a lot to say about this one. I know we mentioned earlier, this is kind of like it's got a kind of a cult film status, but I agree with you, Andre, that it doesn't feel like it's as like popular as you might kind of think in a sense. Like, but there is a lot of interesting stuff about it. So like in the universe, the Graboids is what they end up settling on. They're supposed to be like 30 feet long, 20-ton, like subterranean invertebrate predators hunt via vibration. Blind, they have leathery skin, armored heads, 3 tentacled tongues. They have those little spikes to move them through the soil at high speeds. They do, in this movie at least, the writers deliberately left the origin unknown to avoid cliches. I don't know if that's true about the sequels, if they like dug into like the lore mythology there. Probably they did. But in this one, the writers were like, we don't want to actually dealing with like an origin story for it. But the creature effects were created by Alec Gillis and Tom Woodruff Jr., who we've talked about many times on this podcast before of Amalgamated Dynamics. They worked on Terminator 2. They worked on the Aliens movies. They worked on a ton of great stuff.
Cool.
I think Tom Woodruff Jr. actually played the alien in 3, I believe. So they were actually connected. One of the producers of this movie is Gail Ann Hurd, who produced about like Terminator 2 as well. And so there was kind of connection there. There was also a lot of miniature work done by 4 Ward Productions. So the screenplay initially described them and having a mouse that opened like a flower and tentacles, which kind of works. They apparently worked referencing textures and shapes that interest him, and they avoided trying to make the creatures look like the sandworms of Dune in 1984 at the time.
Oh yeah,
or just like a regular worm. They wanted it to be like very different, so they ended up drawing on like prehistoric animals, rhinoceroses, and elephants to kind of like design.
I can see that the
creature.
rhino.
Yeah, that was kind of like a big part with the skin. I thought with like the sort of like dry skin. Like I think they initially thought about trying to make it like slimy and leathery, or slimy and like slick, but that just doesn't work with all the dirt and dust that's around. So they had to make it like dry.
It doesn't make sense either. Why would they be slimy? They're underground.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They said the head was a really important. So Alec Gillis said the head was a huge thing, and like they weren't quite sure what to do with it, and they kind of settled on this sort of like pointed beak or armored head thing.
Yeah.
And they thought that would kind of be a good way for like a creature to like kind of push its way through, or like make the tunneling thing in front of it. This is a really fun fact that I enjoyed. Apparently, initially, what they had designed the creature to have these like thick folds of skin, and its head would like come out of the folds like a turtle.
Yeah.
To like bridge the body and the head. But apparently when they brought the creature out, everybody kept calling it foreskin.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I literally just imagined that when you said that.
Yeah. Then so they're like, we gotta, and it's already phallic, so like we gotta take this off.
And then it would be called like Desert Dicks or something like that.
Yeah. Yep. So that was that was the back to the drawing board on that one. They did say that the tentacles were kind of a defining feature with like the background and the VFX, because they had to build cable operated tentacles of different length. There was like 10-foot versions for wide shots and smaller ones for close-up work, and even like just hand puppets that they had for like some of the grabbing shots. The mouth had to be redesigned with hinges so it could open wider. And some of the tentacle shots were actually done like reverse, so they could like show it backwards in darting outwards.
Yeah.
So they did a lot of like really interesting, innovative work with the tentacles. The creatures themselves, they built 5 total. Most of them were about like 8 feet long in real life. And I think one of them was just like a lump to be like the dead one, but they had ones that they had to have like operators like above and below, and like I think like there's like multiple people like puppeteering the creatures, even though they had like mechanized like heads and stuff, so that would move on its own. But they had like I think 4 to 8 people on dollies and rigs puppeteering the creatures when they're actually the big ones.
That's
so
cool. And like the movie's like what 36 years old now.
Yeah.
And it still looks like good. Like I don't think it doesn't look like, oh, this looks bad now. You know what I mean?
No, I think it looks amazing. Like
it looks legit.
Practical effects were really, it's like clear that a ton of work went into it. And one of the things that I found when I was learning about this that I thought was really interesting was that, I mean, like we know that there's like the big puppets that they made, but actually they end up using a lot of miniature work. So like 1/4 scale like puppets they use for like a lot of the burrowing and most of the underground scenes, and they actually realized the miniatures working a lot better than anticipated. So I think they end up using them way more often. And but even the miniatures took like 6 to 8 people to puppeteer, which is kind of interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are cool. It's funny too hearing like the history of whatever, just like, you know, monster costumes or creation,
Yeah.
etc. Like I saw recently, maybe this is more common knowledge, but I didn't know until recently that I guess Van Damme, Jean-Claude Van Damme, was supposed to play Predator originally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The face
Those photos are so funny.
but then they thought that he just wasn't as big and imposing as they would like him to be. So they redid the design. And the original guy who played Predator, I think in the first 2 movies, it's this awful thing where he was in a car accident and had a blood transfusion and got AIDS from blood transfusion. This is like back before it was like, you know, when that would be not common, but could happen.
Yeah.
And he died of AIDS because of a car accident blood transfusion.
Wow.
Dang, that sucks. Yeah.
A little bummer note, but I was just like, dang, geez, that's what happened to the original Predator. That's depressing.
They're kind of unsung heroes, like creature actors, right? Like they're doing like a lot of great work and like they're iconic and so much stuff. Like we talk about so much time, but like, they don't always get the recognition, you know, like
Predator
is
like that guy. He went through it all because it was iconic in an unwanted way, and then was in an enormous movie, but no one recognized him. And then when you do it, you're like, oh, you're Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Darth Maul also.
Yep.
Circled it back. I will say for me, like, because I'd never seen Tremors, I just assumed that they would be the exact same monsters as the Dune sandworms. And so I was surprised when it felt like it was like more of a hybrid between Dune and Alien, like the xenomorph with like the little
I
like
could see that,
creatures in your mouth. So that I liked it though. I thought that was like a cool way to narratively like show how out of their depths they are, because like for the longest time they just think like one of the mouth snakes is like the worst of it because it gets caught under the axle of Val's car. And so I liked it. Like narratively, I think it was a really good way to distinguish itself from like such a popular property like Dune.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I actually really appreciate that, the kind of build up to it, like with discovering that first little tentacle creature and then like, oh, this is much more than that. I also like really appreciated the like the effects of the burrowing effects of like going under the sand, but like particularly like we talked about after when we were watching the movie, like the like going under the boards, like the slats, like that looked really cool. Like they did a lot of really cool work with just moving props and sets. I think like that's all like pretty easy, like inexpensive stuff to do, or just like quick things to do on the fly, but it was like really effective. A lot of that like kind of behind the scenes work. They built that whole town like for this movie too. Like that was all set.
Like some Oppenheimer type shit where like they just built
it was totally all built there. The other weird thing about the monster effect is the what's really distinct is the blood that it has, like the orange orange splatter and stuff, which was apparently canned pumpkin.
Oh, fun. It almost looks like a vodka sauce or something.
I kind of actually, vodka sauce. Yeah. I don't know if the vodka sauce would be as nice in the sun.
Probably not. It's also funny too that in the description you gave earlier of like what the guy wanted to do, making kind of like a 1950s monster movie, which I could totally see that also. But it could also easily be like compared to like Jaws on land.
Yes.
Which I think is a good description of it. But also even with that, it still feels very much like its own thing. But it's cool and also similar to Jaws in the way you don't see the monster a lot. But when you do, it like counts. And it's not like too much of it where it makes you go okay. Like every time you see the monster in Tremors, I'm still excited to see it.
Oh, totally. Every time
I
see it,
spiritual successor to like what Jaws pulled off. Like it's like I feel like they handled it just as well. Of like really like communicating scale and like the threat that it poses in a really like cinematically like satisfying way.
Yeah, I agree. What you said there also about like scale. Like there's a lot of monster movies where you're just like, wait a second, that thing was way bigger a minute ago, or it's smaller now. Or like you like the Godzilla movie from like the 98, the one with Ferris Bueller, Matthew Broderick or whatever, and the Puff Daddy soundtrack. But like the size of that Godzilla would fluctuate in that movie. Like I remember like
it totally did.
The trailer was enormous, or not the trailer, but like the first part comes up out of the ocean or what. Anyway, it would just fluctuate. You're like, no, that won't fit in that shit, or not, whatever. So I do also appreciate when something sticks to, it just is consistent. You're like, okay, that's the reality of this thing, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of the benefit again of like building something that you have to put in the camera too. Like that's it. It's gonna be the same.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
It's a bummer too when some movies, like, I don't know if you ever saw the re-release of E.T. when Spielberg went back and like added CG animation to E.T.
Oh, I don't think I saw that version.
Just like he basically has animated eyes, and you're just
Ooh.
like, no, like there's just like, I mean, already E.T. is like a fictional creature, but due to it being a puppet, there is really a puppet there that exists in reality that they shot with. So therefore it is, in a sense, real. But then the CG stuff at this point too just stands out because also it's not established that way. But anyway, that's just one example. But that was like funny because like E.T. is iconic and you're used to seeing it one way. Then all of a sudden it had these like weird eyes and you're like, whoa, what is going on? It's like, this is like,
I like
now
it.
Take me out of it. You know, one could argue
Yeah.
like, well, the alien's not real to begin with. But there was a reality that was established and then it all of a sudden detracts from it. But it's like, okay,
it was
well,
tangible, even if it wasn't
Yeah,
real.
yeah,
Like, it
that's the
felt like
tangible.
something
Yeah,
you
there's
touch,
reality.
yeah. And then the googly eyes just tell me this is fake because you have to put these fake eyes on top of this thing, which makes the whole thing feel kind of dead, which is
Yeah.
the opposite of their goal, I imagine.
Totally. Yeah.
If only
But yeah,
Spielberg knew anything about cinema.
If only.
Back. No.
So speaking of, I'm gonna circle back a couple minutes, Khalid, to when you said this. See, speaking of handling things, Khalid,
Yeah.
would you fight with or would you flirt with these monsters to get out of certain doom? I don't even know how you would flirt with this, but I kind of am curious what you're gonna do. You know, fight and flirt. It's like it's almost, I don't know how you do it with this one.
Well, I'm glad you asked, Joe.
What's fight or flirt, Khalid?
Fight
for
or
those who don't
flirt,
know?
for those who don't know, Andre, basically, it's exactly what it sounds like. At the end of each discussion, I ask, would I fight or flirt with the monster that we've been talking about if I was in that situation? So I feel like the obvious answer is fight, because the whole movie like shows you that you can very successfully fight them. But I don't know that many people with guns, let alone a wall full of them, or a way to like make bullets on the fly.
Right.
So I feel like I would be SOL if I tried to fight one of these things. I actually think I would flirt with the monsters because they show that they're smart and they get smarter. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that they necessarily have a problem with any of the humans. I feel like anybody who's ever lived in an apartment unit with a unit above them can relate to the graboids. You know, it's like somebody's stomping around up there. You just want them to stop. You know, so.
Right.
I think I would be a really good graboid like ambassador, you know? Like I would do a really good job of like creating like a territory for them that like nobody's allowed on, and then like I would just make, because we saw at the beginning of the movie they're not like human obsessed. It's not like they want to eat humans. They ate the sheeps in that dude's farm. So
That's true.
Yeah.
I would tend to them, and I would be it's animal husbandry basically. You know what I mean? Like I think that I could really make a go of it in that regard, because there's no way in hell I'm gonna like ever learn how to make like pipe bombs. So I feel like ambassador for the graboids to humanity. We create like some perimeters or something like that. They're obviously like really easy to like kind of pen in, you know, because
Yeah.
like a lot of the like two of them died just because there was like no more ground to get to.
Yeah.
The cliff. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, that was cool.
Just have them chase you to like a swimming pool or something.
Yeah, and they're smart, like in the same way that like gorillas are smart, or like elephants are smart. You know what I mean? So like I think that I would actually like, I could, in like a zoologist or some shit. Like I feel like I could really like get like a good relationship with them. Probably get like a big following on TikTok. Like one of them like has recognized me since birth, and like we got like a cool like handshake or something. I don't know. I'm just spitballing now, but I would flirt with them and be an ambassador for them to humanity.
All right. That's fascinating. That's very fascinating. I appreciate where you went with that one.
Thank you.
I kind of wonder, it makes you wonder like if that's like the way you're describing it though, like I almost wonder if that's a premise for a sequel, not like flirting necessarily, but like creating like a preserve for the creatures. Like I feel like that would have been kind of a cool place for it. Maybe it does go that. I don't know. Maybe it goes that way, but that would be cool.
I mean, you are just describing Jurassic Park, but I'd watch it.
Jurassic Park with Tremors, yeah.
That would be a tough exhibit just because they're underground creatures. So you'd have to lure them out to get them to see them. You know,
you could do like an ant farm kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Like a dirt what do they call like underwater world, like an aquarium, like a dirt aquarium.
Yeah,
create like walkways underground, and there's windows that you can see them like scurrying.
That's true.
I'm just saying, like, I can make money and friends. Like, if that's not the goal, I don't know what is.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You know, it didn't work out though well for the general store owner who tried to turn it into an
monetize
venture.
Yeah.
See, that's capitalism run amok. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I would be more holistic about my approach. That's the difference. Sure. Yeah. No disrespect to Victor Wong, but we built
all respect to Victor Wong. Yeah.
You got at least $15 before he ate it. You know.
Yeah.
He did.
Haggling was so funny.
Yeah. That was a great scene. Do you guys have any final thoughts before we do our last segment?
I have a monster tidbit, not Tremors related, but due to the topic of this podcast in general.
Let's hear it.
You know the Strangers movies? The Strangers?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
The original,
the three people?
Yeah, the original one that came out, a girlfriend I had for a long time, she at one point worked at a monster shop in the Valley. And then she worked there, and sometimes if they needed extra help with things, she'd be like, hey, do you want to make a few extra bucks and come in for a day and like help with whatever? So then I came in, and they were working on The Strangers, which I didn't really know what it was at the time. It was just, it hadn't come out yet, obviously. And then the two porcelain masks, there's like the bagheady kind of guy, and there's the two porcelain masks. For 2 days, me and Anna, she was the one who worked there, my ex, and then her and I basically just sanded those masks and made them look really, really shiny for like 2 days, just sanding them. It was like a very boring kind of job, but we just sat there with like sandpaper, just trying to make them not look like plastic and trying to make them look really porcelain-y. So we worked on those for a couple of days, and then we went and saw the movie when it came out, and it still creeped me out. And I was like, that's funny. We held those masks for like 2 days, monotonously sanding those with our hands and, sandpaper, and still creeped me out. But that's my one contribution to Monster Worlds is I sanded the original Stranger masks for a couple of days.
That's amazing. I love that story. That is great. I really love that it still scares you. No,
yeah. That's what I was like, it creeps me out. I was like, I held that thing. I was bored holding that thing. Like,
They're creepy. Those masks are terrifying.
Yeah, I will say, if they ever do Tremors like remake, like a proper like big budget thing, like,
oh yeah,
I feel like you could be slotted into that cast. No.
Oh, I would love it. I'd be all about that.
Oh, for sure.
Cool. Another funny side note, at that place where that costume shop, the guy, one of the guys who worked there, this guy named Cleve, do you remember in Pee-wee's Big Adventure when he's like, riding the bike through Warner Brothers at the end? And speaking of Godzilla, there's the Godzilla that lands on the hood of the car, the back of the bike, or whatever. It gets mixed up in the chase scene. Cleve was in that costume.
Whoa, nice.
Yeah. I worked with the guy who was the whatever,
the fake
Godzilla creature in Big Adventure. And I was like, oh shit, that's crazy.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Unsung heroes is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great. So our final segment of the podcast is our What the Fandom segment, in which we share one or two things that we're just kind of into at the moment that may or may not have anything to do with monsters or Tremors at all. So we always let our guests go last. But Khalid, what the fandom with you this week?
Thanks, Joe. I have what the fandom recommendation and then an honorable mention. But my recommendation is a TV series that we've been texting about a lot for the last month. It's the HBO show Task. It's really good. I finished it about a week and a half ago, and I really liked it. Like when we first started watching it, we were like, we both seen the first episode, and we were like, oh yeah, this feels like.
Oh, don't spoil it. I actually just started that.
Won't say
no
anything.
spoilers, no spoilers. It's just shit rules. It's just like when it started, it felt like I was watching like just like heat in the country, you know. And then it evolved into something just like a lot more like sentimental and like just more human. It felt like, you know, like I feel like I love Heat. It's a great crime thing, but like they're all like kind of archetypes, you know, like they're all like kind of pushing an ideology. Whereas like the more you get into Task, like the more humanity is like pulled out of like every character, and it doesn't ever feel like a digression from like what drew you to the show to begin with. And it's really stuck with me since then. Like especially Mark Ruffalo's performance. I'm always a fan of the Ruff, but he surprised me with like the gentleness that he brings to this character. It's so just really nice to see. And then my honorable mention is the movie Batman. Andre,
nice.
I promise I'm not just saying this because you're out here or anything. Like, busted out laughing several times because of like your scenes. I also just wanted to bring it up because one of the actors that you were in there with, Chance Perdomo, unfortunately passed away not long after that movie came out, right? So,
yeah.
You know, I saw him in Gen V, and I loved him in Gen V, but like he brought like such another dimension to Batman, and like just like this goofy like hilarity to it, and it really is just like all of our laws collectively that like he didn't have like more of a career. So like I just want to like shout out his performance in that, and like what a great just like full on just testament to like the talent that the whole cast had, that like that movie just like really just does not stop surprising you from beginning to end. So if you guys haven't gotten a chance to check it out, go see Batman. It's last I saw it was streaming on Amazon Prime, and it's just such a delightful movie.
Cool, thanks, man. I'm so glad you liked it. Yeah, and a lot of the crew, we shot that in Alabama, and a lot of the crew that worked on Death of Dick Long also worked on that, like the sort of
fun.
around that region. Yeah,
Bruh, Death of Dick Long, so good. You can't even talk about it without spoiling it, but it's like such a good movie. Okay, but that's all I've got for myself. Joe, what the fandom with you?
Thanks for asking, Khalid. Great recommendations as always. I am on episode 5 of Task, so I'm not quite done yet either, but I'm really digging it. It's super fun. I will just shout out. I've been watching that show mostly, so you got that one. But I've been doing a lot of comic reading lately, and I just read a really interesting one that came out maybe a couple months ago, but I finally picked it up. It's a Star Trek comic called Star Trek Deviations, which is kind of like Other Worlds, like Elseworlds comics, but in the Star Trek universe. And it's called Threads of Destiny. And for those of you who are Star Trek fans, there's an original series episode where Kirk and Bones and McCoy go back in time to like the 1940s. And it's called The City on the Edge of Forever. And they do, this comic is an alternate version of that episode where Uhura goes back in instead of that, and she's sent to like civil rights era. And meets with some certain like civil rights icons. It's written by the writer Stephanie Williams, and I think she did a really good job with that. Which is like a premise that could sound a little bit hokey, but I thought she made it really genuine and very touching in a lot of ways, and kind of like centering on a character that was always present in the show, but sometimes didn't always get like the most media storylines. And I think like giving her this kind of like spotlight comic was really cool. Especially because Nichelle Nichols like passed away not too long ago, and so like seeing that come out was really cool. But it's a one-shot comic. It's a real quick read, but I wanted to give it a shout out because I think it'd be really cool to see more of like those kinds of like deviations, like this idea of like Elseworlds comics set in the Star Trek universe. I think it's like a universe that's ripe for some weird alternate storylines sometimes like that. So that's my recommendation this week. How about you, Andre? What's the fandom with you?
The most recent thing I watched that I really enjoyed was that new HBO series DTF St. Louis. I just finished that a couple days ago. And I like a lot of Jason Bateman stuff. I think his stuff is typically pretty smart or funny or interesting. And then I feel like that totally delivered on that. I enjoyed that. I'm bummed that I finished it now. I was saying it's only 7 episodes. I was like, oh shit, it's already over. But it didn't feel unsatisfying when it ended. I just was enjoying it, so I wanted to see more. But but no, it it had all the things kind of HBO offers where it's like smart and it's dramatic and it's also funny and kind of like taboo and freaky in some weird way, and it had like a mix of those things. So I really like that. And then more, I don't know if they're honorable mentions, but other things going on. One was I had another one in my head. I just forgot it. The podcast, The Town, which is just basically it's like a trade magazine, but for Hollywood news. But I obsessively listen to that, and it's like mostly about like box office and studio mergers and shit, and less about like artists in particular. But I really like listening to that. That's good. Yeah, I listen to that a lot. Oh, I know what it was. The other thing I thought was awesome was Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie.
Yes.
So great. So smart and stupid. I mean, stupid in the most complimentary way. It was just like such smart stupidity, and like just everything in that. Like it was like a kind of a combination of like a fictional story mixed with time travel and like doing period with old footage mixed with new stuff they shot that's supposed to also be old, and then new stuff now, and then mix of like fiction mixed with reality on the street, and then doing it in such a heightened way where you watch it and you're like, I feel like I just watched a magic trick. And it's also so damn funny. Like every other second, there's just like a good hard joke in it, and it's just so clever and smart, especially for a movie that's based off of a web series that hasn't been seen or not, like isn't new anymore by any means. And then to have it so like if you watch the series, you can enjoy it, and if you didn't watch the series, it's its own thing still. And I just thought it was so funny, and it was so nice to see that. Yeah.
Awesome. Great recommendations also. Yeah. I'm also currently watching DTF St. Louis. I got one more episode left to finish that one.
Another show we've been texting about.
Yeah. HBO's killing it.
Yeah, that show fascinates me. If you're looking for more of that showrunner's work, the show Patriot is really, really good. And
is that the Ryan Phillippe show?
No.
That's Shooter. Something.
Yeah, that's Shooter. Patriot, it's basically like, I feel like it came out during like the height of like Homeland and stuff like that, where it like it does a really good job of like showing like a more cynical view of like the military industrial complex and what it does to its members. Although I think it's actually more like CIA stuff, less than like Army, but really, really good, and just as like unexpected with the twists and turns as DTF St. Louis. It's I
might feel that. Okay, scratch that itch.
I'll check that out. Oh, can I give one more other mention?
Yeah,
there's a movie that just came out recently called The Mermaid, I mean, that stars Johnny Pemberton, and it's like it's Tyler Cornack who directed Butt Boy, which sounds like why would I watch that? But just like that one's really great and really commits to the bit. And it's like John Waters put it as like one of his favorite movies of the year, just to give you a little more context of kind of where it goes. But Mermaid is great, and Johnny Pemberton, you guys may or may not know, like comedian. He's done a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's great.
He's the star of it, and he kind of plays this depressed, pill popping Floridian who finds a mermaid, and all kinds of weird shit goes down from that. But that's a good one. That's like a good weird ass movie. I mean that in a positive way.
I'm glad you mentioned that one. I actually just watched the trailer for that like a week or so ago, and I was like, I gotta check that one out. And you're just reminding me of that one. That's
cool.
It sounds like there's creature effects in it. I might have to do it for the pod.
That's true. Actually, it's a creature movie. It's definitely a creature movie.
We could do that. I love that. All right. Well, cool. Andre, thank you so much. This was super fun to like have you on and chat. I'm really glad to finally talk about Tremors. Before we go, is there any? I know you talked about like you got your own film coming up. Is there anything else you want to plug or like places people could find you?
Sure. I mean, the best way to find me and what I'm up to is on Instagram, which is just the Andre Hyland, and Hyland is Hyland. I have stuff on YouTube also, but I'd say the most like just I don't know day-to-day new shit, or if I'm posting about live shows and that kind of thing, is on Instagram. So yeah, my Instagram, and then other stuff that's out. You can still watch Laid. That's on Peacock. First season of that, and then the season of Lowdown is out now on Hulu, and you can watch my movie The Fourth. I'm not sure where it's streaming right now, but that's available. That's my first feature I directed, and then I've got all kinds of shorts and segments and all kinds of things on YouTube and Vimeo and stuff like that. So just Google my name, you'll find a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you again. This was amazing.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks. It was fun talking about this. I haven't talked about Tremors at length in a long time.
I'm very glad this is the first time I've seen it, and this is like the discussion I got to have after it. I feel like it's going to stick in my head like a lot more now. But yeah,
cool.
Andre, thank you so much. I really appreciate you joining us on here. It was really, like Joe said, just such a fun discussion. Thank you all at home for listening as well, or wherever you listen to pods. Until next time, creep it easy. Frankenstein's podcast is hosted by Joe Praska and me, Khalid Hussein, with music from Jim Hall and original artwork from Jim Tandberg. A reminder that we do have a Patreon if you are interested and able to support our show. We are a fully independent podcast maintained as a labor of love, so anything helps. You can become a Patreon at the $1 or $3 level, or you can become a producer at the $7 level. Becoming a patron gives you access to bonus content like Frankenbits, where we discuss a range of topics often outside the realm of monsters. Thank you to our current Patreon producers, Luke Johnson, Andy Groth, Jake Cole, and Joe Michaud. And thank you to each and every one of you listening.